after. It's the Friday after. We're sandwiched in between the game and Thanksgiving, as we always are. It's Friday. It is a real, honest to goodness Buckeye Friday. So, Dan, how you feeling, man? What's how you shaking loose? I know you traveled a little bit, so what's new?
Yeah, man. It's just this week went a lot faster than I anticipated. So, these next 24 hours, I think we're what, a little more than 24 hours away from
Yeah.
kickoff. Will probably drag
Oh yes,
like they
always
never
do.
have before. But got some distractions to get through it for the next 24 hours. So,
Yeah. The game
just
is it. Go ahead.
no, just the standard anxiousness, nervousness that comes with this game that you and I talked about a little bit.
Oh yeah, the game is at 12:14. The kickoff is, so do with that what you will. So there's an extra 14 minutes baked in there for commercials and whatever else they're doing. I mean, it is a big game, so I'm not sure why 12:14, but that's what it's listed as. So there we go. That team up north coming to Columbus again. Been asked on the timeline a lot if I will be there. This will be the last time I'm not there. So I have been rotating with my uncle and my cousin. He has never been to one. He being my cousin has never been to a Team Up North game. So I was there in 2022, which was horribly disappointing. Now we know why. But but next year I will solely own the tickets. It will not be a co-ownership situation. So,
Nice.
so if you're going, enjoy, have fun. But I will not be there. I'll be watching from the comfort of my couch, and it's going to be cold, so I'm okay with that.
Now we know why. Pray tell, what do you mean?
No, I don't know.
Hey, speaking of which, quick update on that. So, kind of ominous, in my opinion, that they added additional charges or added something. Let's try to be as unbiased as we can.
Right, added something. Yeah.
They added something to the NOA.
Well,
which prompted me. I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is?
No, and I was going to say it says NOAs plural. There's an S next to it.
Oh, interesting. So they've added or served another one, which has prompted Michigan to request an additional 30 days to respond, which, I mean, if you connect the dots, it can't be good for Michigan, right? Like if they need 30 days to respond to it, it's something more that was discovered during the investigation, which kind of answers the question that I've always had is, do they stop investigating once it's issued? And it seems to me like the answer is no. I mean,
No.
the reality is that they might stop kind of, but if more information comes to light, they can always like do this, add to it, or just serve another NOA, whatever.
Yep, 100%. Very interesting.
I was really looking forward to their response the week of the game, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if they did that intentionally too, because that pushes them past the game, past early signing day, and into the throes of the college football playoff, where it could be like just noise. I feel like it was done solely and wholly intentionally by them, but whatever. Well, it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah. I don't know about it being just noise, because if you think about it, 30 days from now is like right after the first round.
Yeah.
So the football season's alive and kicking, right? It's not like it's getting extended to what would have been the old date of the national championship, and then pretty much falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
It's smack dab in the middle of all of it. And as far as the early signing window goes, I mean, those kids can. I don't know if sanctions open a window for kids. I know it did for Penn State. That was a very severe, situation. But regardless, you've got the spring portal window. So
yeah. My understanding is that the answer is yes, that they could, if just pull up stakes and be like, I'm out. So and if that doesn't constitute something, and I'm wondering if it would be, I think people are predicating that on like Sharon Moore being fired for cause. That would open up that opportunity. But I also think, like you said, the spring portal window, they could just be like, I'm out, man.
Yeah. I don't see Moore. I don't think Moore gets fired out of all this. I don't see them signing that extension after the NOA was issued if they knew that, then again, if I'm thinking through this as I say it, if they can fire him from cause regardless, then why not sign the extension? I don't know.
Well, my thought was to show like continuity for the program, even though like for signing day, even though that there may not be any. that would, I mean, I would do that if I were them. I would, if you can fire him for cause and you're not going to be on the hook for a bonus or a signing bonus or anything. What would stop you from doing that to try to show that like, hey, we're behind our guy and he's not going anywhere, but then he's going somewhere? I don't know. Just me being conspiratorial, I guess.
I don't know. There's so much junk coming out this week. I saw something this morning that was hilarious. They're like, Michigan's going to be showing a lot more on offense than they've showed all year. They've been working on stuff, holding things back, more or less knew it was a lost season, and all they want to do is ruin Ohio State's season. And Jim Harbaugh and Jussie Minter have been helping since the bye week with game plan, and so is Biff. I guess that's the guy that got fired from UNC Charlotte or whatever, the guy that looks big and sloppy. But they're like, it's Davis Warren's going to be, Tom Brady on the Patriots. I don't care if he's Tom Brady on the Michigan, but Tom Brady on the Patriots, and all of a sudden, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, I just hope we take these guys out to the woodshed and just kick the ever living shit out of them.
Yeah. That's interesting. There's a lot there to digest.
Yeah, it's just online fodder at this point. It just, I found it to be humorous.
Well, I mean, so firstly, I would say it wouldn't ruin our season. We'd probably just end up the 5 seed where everybody wants to be anyway. But it does take away their opportunity to win the Big Ten title. I think that's the rub for me. Like, I don't want to lose. No, I want them to just beat the tar out of them. I just don't see, and I was reading and I asked around, it does not sound good for Colston Loveland to play.
Yeah, who knows? I would not be shocked at all if both him and Will Johnson are.
Well, Will Johnson is not playing. He's already come out and say he's not playing. So
he has.
That's what I understood, unless I misread the MGO blog wrong, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, and maybe it's a smokescreen. Who knows?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be surprised if Johnson played. I wouldn't be shocked. Colston, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays.
Yeah, I mean, if he plays, where I was going is if he doesn't play, they don't have any offense besides Khalil Mullings.
Well, apparently they held back a bunch of stuff for us.
Okay, well,
they sacrificed their season to ruin ours.
It wouldn't surprise me. Jesus, that's a whole lot of something right there.
Dude, I'm sorry. I have so much. I saw somebody say today, and it was in the chat on Juck and Chris's show this morning, where congratulations on annihilating our JV team this year. And I'm just like, that's such a wild statement for somebody coming off a natty to refer to their own team as a JV team. Like, elite programs don't do that as often as Michigan has had to.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely been some fall off this year too, with even Alabama under DeBoer. I was going back trying to remember last time. I remember Alabama losing 3 games in the regular season. Not dissing Alabama, just correlating the two. But yeah, I don't know. It's super weird. Like, it's so funny. It's so funky. Yeah, it bothers me. I think Michigan may do like a wide receiver reverse throw and like a pass, and that, like they are going to have a flea flicker, and I'm sure they're going to have some stuff dialed up that some trick plays to try to keep them in the game, because I don't think they can keep themselves in the game without that. I just don't think they have enough offense to. If I'm being genuine, I am concerned about Kenneth Grant on the inside against Austin Sareveld a little bit. I'm more concerned about Tegra, because Tegra looked god awful last week against Indiana. I don't even know what he was doing.
Yeah,
I'm not picking on the kids. It just, like, what a time to have like your worst game of the year. I don't, and maybe he got it out of his system, or maybe he just wasn't expecting Indiana to be that twitchy. I don't know, but Tigger did not have a good game. I rewatched the game. He did not have a good game.
Yeah.
Hinsman and Saraveld played well together. Donnie looked great on the edge. Fryer was solid again, but Taggart definitely not great. And then I thought Denzel Burke had a bounce back game. So Iggy got picked on a lot, but Denzel seemed to have everything on lockdown. So that's my summation from Indiana.
I keep hearing that like Iggy got pulled or Denzel got pulled over the last few games, and then they still have more snaps than anybody else. So, yeah, I mean, here are the things that I'm going to be looking out for, right? And some of this is prediction, and some of this is just I hope not, but it probably is going to happen. Michigan's probably going to have a long drive with their first long possession on their first drive. It's the MO of this team.
Yeah.
You know, if Michigan goes 3 and out on their first drive, it's going to be a long day, right? If they have a long possession, long drive, ends up scoring some points, then who knows what can happen, man? Who knows? I mean, hopefully it's the same mindset they've had like when Indiana did it. It's just like, okay, game started, let's go. Or, you know, because it's Michigan, do things tighten up a little bit? I have got this just god-awful premonition that we're going to lose somebody major to a targeting penalty. I just, you know, it just kind of keeps creeping into my head. You know, emotions are high. People are going to be looking for kill shots. You know, I hope they're smart. At the same time, I hope that they're not coaching them to be careful about that, because then they, you know, will be taking, you know, be hesitant. I want to see I want to see some John. I want to see some trash talking. I want to see people getting in their face. I wouldn't mind a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct to start this game. I have visions of an old school hockey game where the puck drops and there's a 5-on-5 brawl in the middle of the ice. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing 5 15-yard unsportsmanlike conducts on the first play of the game, right? As long as they're not targeting, you know, like I want to see something. I don't know if it's storming the field after the first touchdown, a la Mark Richt in Georgia versus Florida. I don't know. I want to see something. I don't want them to come out acting too cool for school. And here's the thing. I don't think they will. And the reason why, you know, is a conversation for another day. But the reason why are the guys that are new to the program. Like, you know, Caleb Downs, Q, Howard. You know, if Seth was on the field, and he'll be there, he'll be present. But just the fire that those guys have brought.
Yeah,
like Q in that first series, the first drive or the second drive against Penn State, when he's getting in somebody's face after he ran him over. We haven't seen that until this year, and they're guys that came from outside the program. So, I need to see that tomorrow. I want to see reckless abandon. I want to see just relentless pursuit. I want to see attitude that we haven't seen in a long time. I don't want to see too cool for school.
No, I agree with you. I'm. Someone posed a question: if Will Howard was here last year, would that team have beat Michigan? And there is no doubt in my mind that they beat Michigan last year, because Will Howard could have picked up 4 or 5 first downs with his legs that were needed. It's that simple. Like, I can tell you for certain that they would have beat that team last year.
Well, you look at Will Howard go through his progressions now, and I'll be the first man. I'm going to own this. I'm going to own it. I made a post going into the season that he was a one read guy. And you know what? Looking at his film at Kansas State, for the most part, I was right. So he's definitely developed this year. He's going through progressions. And if we had that last year, there were so many guys there were 3 or 4 touchdowns left on the field last year because Kyle didn't go through his progressions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was also force feeding Marv too. That's a lot of it. You know, that was his safety net.
Yeah. It was his passy.
Yeah. So, we'll save the score prediction for the end. But was there anything in the Indiana game? Because Indiana obviously sluggishly beat Michigan, that you think carries over to this week, besides just kind of feeling good? Like that game, to me, Ohio State left 2 touchdowns on the field inside the red zone. So that game to me was never really that close. And do you think Caleb Downs maybe being back on punt returns again? What do you think carries forward to this week against that team up north?
I know what I want to see carry forward.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just checking my settings. Want to make sure I was audible during all this. I want to see the aggressive play calling on the defensive side of the ball. I want that to remain. I want to see us take shots downfield and open things up. But defensively, I want to see what we saw against Indiana. I hope and pray, and hope is not a strategy, as I tell my salespeople. I hope that we're not conservative. I think we're beyond that. It took a minute after the Oregon game, right? We didn't see it against Nebraska, but since Penn State, we've been dialing up the pressure, and I hope we continue to see that. I hope that we don't think that we don't need to do it. I want to attack these guys. I want to make their lives miserable. I want to see an effort and a result like we saw against Indiana, with a couple extra conversions in the red zone and less points from them.
The big thing to me, and I think I even texted this to you and Chuck, was that first drive that Indiana went on, that long drive, we didn't pressure at all. They just ran their base 4, and what happened? Indiana scored. So, and then we start pressuring him, and I'm tell you what, man, Rourke was seeing ghosts at the end. Like he just looked like he was bailing on the play before the play even developed. So, yeah, I'm with you. Pressure is one. I'd like to see Caleb Downs back there. I think he's a game changer as a kick returner. Or punt returner. I'll own that. I was wrong. I text you guys that I was wrong. Now's the time for championship football. So take the bubble wrap off. Let's go. So that's one for me. And then the other thing, I want this to be the TreVeyon Henderson statement game. He's been running like a man possessed, and I love Q. Don't get me wrong. Like he's great. I love it. But I think this is the TreVeyon Henderson statement game. I've stayed healthy all year. I can break tackles. I can block. I can catch. And I want him to go for over 100 and at least 3 tutties. I want this to be the J.K. Dobbins, Trey Henderson coming out party. And that could be that could be receiving too. It could be on a screen, whatever. But I think TreVeyon Henderson's ability to get to the second level and break it is the difference in this game.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. I mean, I'd love for it to be such a controllable situation that our guys, right, the seniors that came back, the guys that have been here, get highlighted a little bit.
Yep.
Right. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to need to, rely on some of these guys, like on Q in the backfield. Obviously, JJ.
I'm not saying Q won't get his touches. I'm not saying that at all. I just think TreVeyon's ability at his burst at that second level, I just don't think Michigan's linebackers have that capability to run him down. So
no,
that's where that comes from. It comes from a place of looking at what weapon would be the most effective. And besides Jeremiah Smith, throwing it to him 15 times this game, because even when he's not open, he's open. So that's my thought on it. I was just curious what you thought about, how things looked against Indiana. What did your?
I mean, if you compare the games, right, and I know the transitive property doesn't really apply in football, but Indiana beat Michigan 20-15,
something like that. Yeah, it was.
Michigan shut them down in the second half.
Yeah.
We should be able to handle Michigan, but I mean, come on, we all know this is the Michigan game, man.
Yeah.
The last time there was a spread this large, and I don't even think it was this large, we lost.
Yeah.
To a god awful Michigan team.
It was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 96 or 97.
Wouldn't have been 97. 97 was the Rose Bowl year.
Yeah, so maybe it was 96 or something
Must
like
have
that.
Been 96.
Yeah, I mean we were a double-digit significant favorite. They were maybe had 4 wins, I want to say, and we lost.
Yeah.
So this is a game where you throw everything out. And brother, I don't want to. I hate to break it to you, but if we lose this game, we're not settling in at the 5 seed.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see us dropping out of the top 8. I would see us hosting a game, but that brings up another topic. Let's assume the world is right. We win, Indiana wins, Penn State wins, and Oregon loses. They've already said
play?
Washington, which they've lost 3 times in a row.
That's right. Apple.
They've already said that Oregon's in. Like the Big Ten has formally announced that Oregon is in. I don't know if that means you remove them and now it's a tiebreaker between the other 3, in which case we're in, or I don't know if like you got to pick 2 of the 4 and you already know Oregon's one. Like, is there a chance that if there's a 4-way tie at the top that we don't get in?
No.
I'm under the impression we control our own destiny, but I hadn't thought about Oregon losing and being a 4-way tie because Oregon didn't play those other 2 teams. So there's no head-to-head or common opponent type thing you can put in there.
There was somewhere, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Bill Rabinowitz, but he broke down every possible scenario. And basically, it all leads to Ohio State wins, they're in.
Okay.
Period.
All right. Well, and Oregon's in already. So, yeah.
Well, the one thing, and I'll give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Josh. He told me yesterday, I mentioned this before the show started. He said, we were talking about the Michigan game, and I just said, hey, I always get that feeling in the pit of my stomach. And he's like, I think we're going to win. And he said, you have to remember that Ryan Day is 49-0 against unranked opponents. And Michigan is unranked, but I was like, I don't care. It doesn't like Ryan Day and Michigan and the last few years, man. I don't know. And it doesn't matter whenever we play Michigan. We were on 8 in a row or something, and I still had the feeling in the pit of my stomach going into that game, just because you and I grew up or had a lot of time in the Cooper era to have that stolen from us, that really great feeling. And there were some really good John Cooper football teams that lost to Michigan that shouldn't have. And
yeah, well, what do those 49 games have in common?
Not Michigan.
There you go. So, I mean, you throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. All common sense conclusions and reasons of logic are just they don't apply.
Yeah,
they don't apply. It's like Beyonce and Jay-Z. Like, come on, he's the ugliest man I've ever seen in my life, but he got Beyonce. Now, money goes a long way. But my point is like all common sense doesn't apply in this situation.
Right. So let me ask you this then. Give me one player on offense and one player on defense that's your X factor. I already mentioned Trey for me on offense. So who's yours on offense?
I keep wanting to go back to a lineman, but I can't pick just one.
You could say the O-line. I won't be offended.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, the O-line's the X factor in this game, right? Can they have, because it make no mistakes about it. We are about to face the best defensive front that we have all year, especially if they want to play. And I have to think that this will be their best effort all year because they hate us as much as we hate them. So yeah, it's our O-line is the X factor.
Yeah. Do you think we see more 12 personnel this game then because of that, and Bennett Christian being healthy? Or not Bennett Christian, but
I hope not, man. I don't want us to come in with a different conservative game plan. I want us to do what we've been doing. I want us to be multiple. I want us to throw a little bit of flavor at them that they haven't seen all year, like we have in every other big game. Penn State, it was a speed option. Indiana, it was a pressure on defense. I want to see UGA Ryan Day on the sideline. Now, he's not calling the plays, but I want that mentality to be permeating throughout the staff and the team. I want them to be playing loose, and I want them to go out and slit their freaking throats.
Okay. All right. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I have postulated, even just in conversations, that it wouldn't surprise me to see them actually move the pocket a little bit this week, which is something we have not done. To
give
a
little more the second half of the season, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I want to give our guys a chance to line up and punch them in the mouth and see what happens.
Okay. All right. Defense. I can tell you right now, my X factor is Cody Simon if Colston Loveland is playing.
You think
that middle of the field?
You think if Loveland plays, I think Caleb gets the assignment the same way he did against Ty Warren at Penn State. Ty Warren at Penn State was a non-factor because Caleb was assigned to him.
Yeah, where I'm coming from is not necessarily who's covering him, but the middle of the field. The middle of the field is going to be like that zone where I think we have to shut it down. That's that third and medium, that 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 that they love to go with those short hook routes, and just enough to pick up a first down, keep the drive going. Don't let Davis Warren scramble for 3 or 4 yards. I think Cody Simon. He's the linchpin this game. He's my guy. I just feel like that he's going to hold it all down. Like if we're going to win, he holds it all down.
Yeah, I'll go X factor. I'll go linebacking course. I went with a unit on offense. I'm going to go with a unit on defense. I think we see a 3-man set.
Arvell, yeah.
I think we see Arvell in there a little bit more, which could be a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, I'll go linebackers just because I think this is going to be. I think our D line has an advantage against their O line the same way that they do versus us, and so I think that makes it the linebacking core on defense to go ahead and shut down. They're gonna have to stop the run, and they're gonna have to not get killed on play action.
Yep. Well, we had some requests from basically all of our listeners on the YouTube channel over the last couple weeks, and it shouldn't surprise you. It's recruiting. So I have some recruits listed, Dan, and I was reading my notes, but number one.
Wait a minute, who the hell is Dave?
Dan.
I know you've been cheating on me with Juck and Terry and
David
other
Sanders
guys.
Is the first one in my notes.
Okay,
that's why I was reading David.
All right, I gave you a hall pass for Juck and Terry. I don't know no Dave guy.
Yeah. So David Sanders. So I'll let you go first, Dan. Just overall your feeling. And I know everybody wants information. And I think that it's been played really closely to the vest. A lot of us didn't even know Sanders was coming until last Thursday for the Indiana game. So how are you feeling about the chances of David Sanders trending towards Ohio State?
I tell you what, on the back end of that visit, I was feeling really good. It went as far as me hearing from people that are typically in the know saying that we got him. And then he's posting stuff on Instagram with the Ohio State stuff again. But the detective in me noticed in his Instagram story yesterday, he took a picture of a plate of food that he was having for the day, and inconspicuously in the picture were his feet, which had on Tennessee slides. So who knows, man? These kids are way more savvy with social media these days than any of us are. I don't know. I do know that Tennessee thinks they've lost him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got major insiders over there that pretty much said it's all and done. You have one of their bigger insiders over there that have said he's gone and it's not about money, right? It's just, they're apparently turning on the offensive line guy, whatever his name is, Eberle or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I heard from enough people that are in the know that we've got him. So we'll see.
Okay.
Does he show up, this weekend? He shows up this weekend and I'll feel way, way, way good. Better than my English. I'll feel way good. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Okay. Well, I'm with you. I think things were over the weekend trending Ohio State's way. Now they've gone home, the visit, the excitement, the atmosphere probably worn off. I postulated that maybe he just wanted to see, like, am I 100% sure that I make the right decision? Like, should I go see it one more time? How am I feeling? And I'm with you that if he makes the trip up, and there's starting to be some murmurs that he will be here tomorrow, but you never know. It's the internet. People make shit up all the time.
Is his season over?
I think so. Um, and so if he makes that trip up again and he's here for the game, whether it's incognito or whatever, I'll feel a lot better. I'm with you. It doesn't sound good on the Tennessee side, but at the same time, they're just reading the tea leaves too. No one is actually talking to the Sanders family because they're not talking.
Yeah.
No one I've talked to.
The Tennessee fans are doing exactly what the Ohio State fans would do if the tables were turned. It'd be the sky is falling, fire Justin Fry, blah, blah, blah. Speaking of which, I can't help but to think that the way our offensive line has responded this year may have been a reason that it raised an eyebrow with the Sanders family. Because, listen, at some point, you got to give Justin Fry his flowers.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Saraval filled in at the beginning of the year and played well.
Yeah. We
lose Simmons. Donnie kicks out. Hinsman comes in, barely played all year, plays really well. Right. Now we lose Seth. Carson slides over. Granted, he played 12 games last year, but Saraval comes back in and plays well. I mean, Fry needs to get his flowers eventually.
Yeah.
And I can't help but to think that they're not sending clips and stuff like that to these recruits and saying, look how far these guys have come in the year. You're going to get developed here.
Well, speaking of, did you see the shot of the top of Austin Saraval's head? He has a receding hairline, and I was like, I like my linemen having receding hairlines.
He looks like one of the old Hogs from the Washington Redskins days. Speaking of which, the Redskins may be coming back.
That sounds like they are.
Do you think that leads to the Indians coming back?
There's a petition.
That would be wonderful, man. I just want to get back to normality and reasonably and get rid of all this nonsense in the world.
If they bring back the Chief, I'll have a whole show on it. So, So yeah, I'm with you. I like the way things were trending with David Sanders. The quiet makes me believe that they're thinking things over, and he's always been kind of that way. But if you wanted me to give you a yes or no, I'm going to tell you to flip a coin at this point.
Well, Hayes Fawcett did his whole mind blown emoji post, which I think the last time he did that, there was a 5-star flip.
Okay.
So there's all sorts of stuff out there. I mean, a 5-star flip, and we haven't seen one of those. We've seen a lot of flips recently, but we haven't seen any 5 stars that I can remember. So there's a lot of, speculation out there that it's either Sanders or Offord, but.
Well, Offord's dad had something to say about that, though, and he's next up on my list. So let's just switch into Naeem Offord.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I think Offord's in. He recently posted. If you go through Naeem Offord's timeline, it's nothing but reposts about Ohio State. Ohio State related reposts. There is a really good video of this guy losing his mind about how good Offord and Sanchez will be together. And Offord shared, reposted that with Buckeye, emojis and tagging Devin Sanchez and saying, this is fire. He recently posted a picture of him wearing his Ohio State headband. Now, he had Florida Gator gloves on, but I don't even think Florida's in the picture. I know there's, some rumors that they might have been, Snapchatting each other recently. But
champ.
That's the equivalent of I think the flirtation with Florida. Though they are picking up a little bit of steam on the trail. I think Offord's in, man. His dad seems to go out of the way to, dispute stuff like, the Fong bomb, which I'm affectionately referring to as the Fong dud, forevermore, that, he posted that his flip prediction, and his old man, like Naeem's dad chimed in. He's like, I don't know where he's getting this from. Like, he's not getting it from our conversations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has to drive up interest too. And that's what I've said. I'm kind of out on the Wilfong train, man, because he's gotten so national, and then he moved over to On3, and everybody knows I think On3's trash anyways. And now Hayes Fawcett, I used to actually like him, and now he's doing edits for visits, and it's just trash. It's just trash. On3 is trash. Just gonna say it. And Hayes, I know he just got engaged. I get it. Like, he got engaged. He needs money, but bro, chill on all that stuff, man.
If you want to have a good read and chuckle, go to his post where he posted the mind blown emoji and read the comments. Like, it was instantaneous that he everybody started saying, "Dang, she flipped already." Engagement off. That's holy cow, the decommitment season.
Yeah.
Can't believe she flipped that quick on you. They're having fun with him. Speaking of which, I'm going to tell this story now before I forget. Last time we recorded, I was going into training in Denver, and our national director of training is a guy by the name of James Roberts. Huge Michigan fan. Not from Michigan, just grew up a Michigan fan. Huge Michigan fan.
Weird.
So we're sitting there and we're getting introduced to our CRM, right? And they're talking about, and we're in the Sandbox, which is kind of like a virtual CRM, right? So it's just a fake, it's a practice portal, right? So he's like, yeah, go ahead and put in 6 prospects, put in somebody that's real, but not real. And dude, without a beat, I just said, do you mean like the national championship season for Michigan? Dude, that room was howling, and it was so good. And he knew that it was just like a hanging curveball for me.
Yeah.
But that did indeed happen. Every Michigan fan on the timeline's like, yeah, give me $100 for something that didn't happen, Alex. Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
Well, we all know the natty didn't happen, so it's all over.
Alleged natty.
So I actually had a chance to check in on this one. So Quincy Porter, before he shut down his recruitment, there was some rumblings out there about Porter and maybe some flirtation with other schools, but he shuts down his recruitment, so he'll be a Buckeye. Justin Hill,
you like that edit, right?
Yeah, I like that edit. Justin Hill, this is a weird one because I had a bunch of intel saying that there was open communication between Ohio State and Justin Hill with just hours before the edit of him shutting down his recruitment. So,
well, you want to know what led to him doing that?
Sure.
Or having to do that, or feeling like he had to? So one of the chat groups I'm in, there's like about 100 of us, a little less than 100 of us. I think it's 80 something people. And there is a movement to tweet at Justin Hill. It was after Alabama's 3rd loss, and there was a movement within the group. They said, get on the timeline, tweet at Justin Hill about how he needs to get to Ohio State. And that's why you started seeing all those retweets tagging Justin Hill and suggesting that he needs to reopen his recruitment and he needs to come to the game and that he needs to flip and this and that. And that effort literally led to him having to do that shutdown announcement.
Okay.
Because the rumors just took off like wildfire, man. It was wild. It was a very interesting little social experiment.
Yeah. I still, I don't know. I'm not all the way out on him, but the fact that he did that was, I just thought that was just odd, because then to me, if he was considering coming to the game, that just looks weird. Like that just makes it look weird. So I don't think he'll be here Saturday. Let's see, who else do I have on my list?
But let me ask you this. Would that be any different than, a lot of our guys that go to their nearby school? I mean, granted, Justin Hill hasn't been doing that with us all season the way that he did, the way that Naeem Offred's done with Auburn, but I mean, would it be any different?
Probably not. Probably not. That's a fair point.
If I'm a high school kid, I don't care where I'm committed. In this day and age, if I get an invite to go and be on the sidelines or in the stands for the Ohio State Michigan game, I'm freaking going. And if I'm a local kid, I'm telling the team that I committed to up front and being honest with them, like, dude, I'm going to that game. Like, it's the greatest rivalry in sport.
I know. I get it, man. I do. Demola Ahitajan. So what I was told,
Is this the kid from Duluth, Georgia?
yes,
Georgia Tech commit?
yes. What I was told is he was kind of the backup plan for the David Sanders situation. And that they basically told David Sanders that if he committed, they'd be cooling on Demola. So take that for what it's worth. You know, I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, I like the kid. He's obviously intelligent, going to Georgia Tech, wants that prestigious degree, we'll call it. But I don't know. That's all I really know right now. Like there was some momentum for Ohio State, but then David Sanders showed up, and I think that cooled. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything there with this kid.
Okay. I'm kind of with you on that. Jordan Woods. This one, I'm teeing you up, man.
Dude,
Jordan
I'm
Woods.
excited about this. So, this is a good segue from Offord. Number one, first thing that people need to understand is that the Jordan Woods commitment had nothing at all to do with Naeem Offord.
No,
I think it had more to do with. I mean, yeah, we were always going to be taking three, but don't we have a third, or do we have three safeties?
I think we have three safeties.
Yeah, I mean, there were talks about Stewart sliding over to play corner, but yeah, I mean, I've been told in no uncertain terms that this has absolutely nothing at all to do with Naeem Offord. It has more to do with, if it has more to do with anything, it's the increase in scholarship limits. But this is not a let's just take an extra guy type of a situation. I know somebody that's very, very close to him that messaged me and said, "Hey, listen, I need you to keep my name out of it, but here's what I know." This kid's legit. Like he said, he's a dog. This kid is 6'5", 220, and can run sideline to sideline, and he plays nasty. And I asked him, I said, do you think at 6'5", 220, do you see him moving up, like kind of like Sonny did? And he said, not really. He doesn't have the body that Sonny did to put on that extra weight. What he told me is that there's a plan. This is not just a throwaway offer, that they have a plan. They've communicated a plan. And that it has more to do, kind of envision a Kyle Hamilton.
Okay.
Going all over the place in the secondary. But he's a legit 6'5", 220, and can go sideline to sideline, man. I think the analogy you use, he said, think Chris Henry as a DB.
Defense. Yep.
I mean,
yep.
I'm really excited about this, man. His video, he plays in a really good program in Georgia. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. That's the other thing I asked is like, what's the deal with this recruitment? Like, why is he only a 3-star? And they said, he wasn't very active on the camp circuit. Could have had something to do with it. He committed early to Cincinnati. Could have had something to do with it. But he should, when the dust settles, he should be a solid 4-star. But I think he's a great get, man. I'm really excited about that kid.
Yeah, I like that pickup a lot. And then you were sharing some of the intel with me from the source, and yeah, I love it. And the analogy of Chris Henry on defense was like kind of mind blowing to me, because if you watch the way that Chris Henry can manipulate his body, to have that as a defensive back, and then the length, given that there's a trend towards taller receivers now, that helps a lot, because when you watch Denzel Burke, he's smaller. So even Ward was smaller. I think he was 6'6.5". So
I mean, think about this secondary. Think about this class, right? You got Sanchez, who's 6'3".
Yeah.
Woods is 6'5". Offord's what, 6'2", 6'3" as well. I mean, holy cow. That's a Saban-esque defensive backfield.
It is. Yep, for sure. All right, let's do this one, even though I don't really want to. Dorian Brew.
There's a lot of smoke there, man.
Yeah, there is. So here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to get your hopes up, but there is definitely some momentum about him coming back to Ohio. That I will say, that's all I'm going to say. There's momentum towards that. I'm not going to call a flip, but there's momentum. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I mean, the kid was raised in Ohio. He's been in Texas for 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, Does that happen if Alford stays in the fold? I mean, do we take 4? There were rumors of him sliding over to safety anyways.
Well, that I thought that if I go back, I'd have to go back and read my notes, but there was some talk about Brew playing safety, and I think that was part of the reason he committed to Oregon is because Ohio State wanted to move him to safety, and he wanted to play defensive back. So, there's a lot there. There it just is. There's a lot of things going on with that, but I do believe genuinely from the people in the know, as we like to say, there is momentum and there is conversation ongoing with Dorian Brew. And then my next one up, Dan, TJ Alford. And, so here, let me preface this by saying, how much I love Eli Lee. Eli Lee is my dude. Like, love him. He's probably like my favorite Ohio linebacker in the way he plays the position. He's an old school throwback. He's going to smack you in the mouth. And I like him a lot. And I think paired with TJ Alford in this class among some of our others is phenomenal. But how are you feeling about TJ? And there's a lot of talk about Miami. Hayes Fawcett, of course, in his trash edits, made a flip edit. What are you hearing and how are you feeling? Because this is one I can't get much intel on.
Did Hayes Fawcett make a flip edit for that, or was it Wilfong?
It might have been a Wilfong. One of them did. I don't
think Fawcett does those because that would be kind of showing his cards. He's got that level of trust with players. That was a Wilfong thing. Yeah. I mean, I think the kid's conflicted. I think he absolutely wants to play unequivocally for James Laurinaitis.
Yeah. They have a special relationship.
I think there's a lot of extended family that's pushing him towards Miami. I know the money's there. My gut tells me he sticks.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he sticks.
Okay. Because if he sticks with Lee and then
Pettyjohn,
Riley Pettyjohn out of Texas, that's a heck of a linebacking class.
Oh yeah. Hey, did you happen to see Pettyjohn's old man father? No. I don't mean to sound disrespectful. It's just a term. His father posted a video of him while he was at Syracuse sacking Tom Brady. And it was something along the lines of, can't wait to see the next Pettyjohn play in the game. So Riley Pettyjohn is a Buckeye.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And the last one I had, and I don't think that I'm trending away from this one, which was Aiden West, the Michigan State corner who came in for a visit. And I originally thought, okay, all right, I see you. But I'm kind of trending away from that one. I don't think he flips. I think he sticks with Michigan State, especially given that he would probably be the 4th or 5th DB in this class. So, yeah, I'm that. I don't know. What do you have any intel on that? Because after
no, last night I heard rumblings that him and Chaz Coleman both canceled their visits to the game.
Okay. Yeah,
I was really surprised that, the Chaz Coleman thing, like something's got to happen on the line, man. Like we've lost. I mean, we're down to one edge guy, which is Ziggy Grady, and he seems very, very solid.
Yeah.
Beyond solid. But we lost 2 edge guys recently. Now I think they're both tweeners. There was some talk about us possibly losing Jaquez Carter. I think that's cooled down a little bit. But, Ryan talked about this a little bit at the press conference this week that, there's really multiple phases to filling out a class now, right? You've got you've got 3 phases. You've got high school recruits, you've got the portal, and then you've got your own roster retention, right? To complete your roster. So, which is just mind-boggling to think of, but it's the world we live in. I think we're going to be really active in the portal this year for some edge guys, but we've also got, we moved Houston down, which I think is a good move. A wise man once told me that was going to happen. But if you look at next year, going into next year, what do we have on the edge, man? We got Kenyatta, we've got Caden Curry. They're penciled in as starters.
Yeah.
Does Melton have another year, or is
You'll
this
have
it?
you'll have Melton, you'll have Josh Mickens, and then you'll have
Grady coming in?
Dom Kirks, Ziggy Grady. I'm forgetting one other person.
We need some experience going into next year on the line.
Yeah. I do think Caden Curry. I think Caden Curry is going to have a monster year next year. I just do, but I'm focused on this year right now. But I agree with you on the roster retention. I wouldn't be surprised to see them come in, signing day and flip somebody we weren't looking for at the edge position. It wouldn't shock me at all. Probably a 4-star somewhere. That wouldn't surprise me.
Does CJ Hicks get moved down?
Oh, he'll move down. There's out of doubt he's moving down.
I saw a stat the other day that on 74 rush attempts, he's got a higher win rate than Jack does, and Jack's is high.
Yeah,
Jack's like 20th in the country,
mm-hmm.
and CJ's higher than him, and his win rate is higher than him. Mm-hmm. His pressure rate is high, and his win rate is high.
All right, Dan, let's do this. Call your shot. Final score. We're going to get out of here with this. Final score on Saturday at 3:30. We're walking away feeling what?
Man, I want to be arrogant and cocky right now. I really don't want them to score any points. I just don't. I see them getting something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the game, right? Like if you look at their offense compared to other offenses that we've all but shut down, like they shouldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the game. So they've got that kicker that's really good. It is going to be cold.
Zavada.
Dude, the fact that kid is not a Lou Groza finalist is one of the stupidest things I've seen in recent history. Like that kid's just so good. He's like 5 for 5 over 50 yards this year. He's only missed one kick and it was less than 30 yards. But anyways, I am going to go. I'm trying to think about how Michigan's going to play the clock. If they get a few drives, they can really prevent our possessions. I'm going to go 45-13.
Respectable. I wasn't far off.
And I'm going to be upset that Ryan left 55 points on the field.
My final was 34-13. I think they do get a couple field goals in there, and I think they could end up finding a way to punch it in. I think
if we're up by 2 or 3 scores going into the fourth, I don't see Ryan letting his foot off the gas.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sticking with my number. It's going to be cold. I just don't know, what it's going to look like running the ball for us yet. I know that, they can create ways to run the ball, especially with Will. So, but yeah, I'm going to stick with that 34-13. So
does something out of the ordinary happen in this game? Is there somebody off the bench that's going to have an impact, whether it be special teams, whether it be, Kenny Guyton-esque, Dwayne Haskins-esque, is there, like in the Penn State game, you saw Brandon Ennis, score a touchdown. Is there something like that? Does somebody come in and get a sack strip? Does somebody get a pick? Like, is there something like that in the tea leaves?
Well, there is a trend with Ohio State with blocking punts right now and putting pressure on punts.
Did last week count as a blocked punt?
It really didn't, but I'm saying, but they were coming, they were trying to block that. I think that, because the punter looked up to see the rush.
Oh yeah.
And you could see the ball then, get on him quicker than he thought. Everybody blamed the water, but it was on him. He looked up to see the rush.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the punt game has been huge in the last couple of games. It's caused a crazy amount of momentum. So I'm once again looking to special teams. I don't think they're going to get an opportunity to do a kick return. I think, the kick return game.
Yeah, I mean, Zapata puts it out of the end zone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is cold.
Yeah.
It is cold. The ball might not, but ties to Michigan have, history with manipulating the ball.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Letting the air out a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Feeling a little deflated. I don't know. All right. So Dan's got it 45-13. I'm saying 34-13. Guys, big game. There's no other way to say it. You got to have this one. You got to win this one. If you're Ryan Day, you better win it. But Dan, any final words?
No, man. Just want to, in spirit of the season and the week, just want to express how thankful I am for you, man. This has been a fun year. How thankful I am for this community that got small really quick, and then all the faceless avatars that have made this fun. Thankful for all of them.
Yeah, I'm thankful for you too, and this podcast and our little Pod Bros family, man. Like it's I don't know. It's been fun, and you become friends through a variety of different ways with people, and this has just been great. So yeah.
Can we get you to hit the like button, smash the like button, and then if you don't subscribe. I don't even care if you don't like us and you're never going to listen again. Just hit the damn subscribe button for us, man. It's the spirit of giving. It's a season of giving.
Yeah.
Give
us the subscriptions. Yeah. All right, Dan. Well, I'm going to get you out of here. I know you're with family. I have my brothers here. So you guys enjoy the game. Let's have some fun. Let's win it. Let's go to the Big Ten championship. You'll see us one way or the other in the coming weeks. So you guys enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. And as always,
go Bucks.
There it goes.
I forgot to mention I got an OH at a gas station in East Tennessee this morning.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Cool. Good show, man.